Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Phoenix, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Steven.
Good evening, gentlemen. So we have quite a bit to talk about today. They just did the Adepticon streaming event yesterday, and they have revealed a lot of information that we are going to cover today in our news segment. But before we do that, let's talk about some upcoming tournaments that are on the horizon, shall we? So we had someone reach out to us about an event in May. That event is called the Richmond Open Grand Tournament. That is going to be... Oh no, I closed it. Of course I closed it. That is going to be at the Meadow Event Park in Doswell, Virginia. And I'm assuming that is in the greater Richmond area. It is on May the 3rd through the 4th. It is going to be a large event with a ticket cap of 64, and they currently already have 34 people assigned. So this is going to be a big event. It is also an LVO qualifier, and it sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun. A 2-day event sounds like a lot, but having done Second Wind, it was a hell of a lot of good time. So I highly recommend that anyone in the vicinity makes their way down there. I actually am tempted, but we have a tournament in Pittsburgh that we have to attend that day. It's May the 3rd, right, Brad?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, the finals for our region for the BECC that we've been doing all year is the same day. And we all qualified, so he can't make it to Richmond.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it does sound like it'll be a fun event. I wish all of them a good time in getting there. All right, so other events that are on the horizon. There is an event on April the 12th at Firefly Games in Columbia, South Carolina, and that is the store that... Oh, I know nothing about this store. Is this the store that you traveled to an event to, Steven?
Correct. Yeah. This is.
Yeah.
This is only 2 hours away from me. So.
Okay.
The
not
previous
close.
one was in Concord, North Carolina. So.
Okay, and which is further away?
Correct. Yes.
I don't know very much about South Carolina's geography. All right, then coming up on the 19th of April is a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. That is our local game store, and we've already got 10 people signed up for it, so it's a pretty good showing for us. We usually have a pretty small event, but I'm looking forward to this one. Then, coming up on the 26th of April is a tournament at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio. This is the previous store of Steven, that since his move, it is now just an affiliated store that have some people that we are close with. It is a great space, and I really like this store. So I do want to go again at some point, but probably not to this one. All right, those are the upcoming tournaments. We have a lot to talk about, so I think that we should just hop right into it. So AMG had a big event at the Adepticon livestream. Brad, I'm going to throw it over to you because you have all of the pictures.
Yeah, Adepticon apparently is just a live stream now. It's not like this big convention with lots of games going on. It's just
Really
a
glad
live
someone else
stream.
caught that. Really glad someone else heard.
So,
Fred's,
wow.
Yeah, all right, sorry.
While AMG was there selling their product and running events like the Timelines event, which had 24 total players, and
Right.
the finals, which had 2 pretty full heats, into a 32 tournament, into a 8-man cut, That was pretty cool. And a bunch of side events. They had events where you had to play at least one of the new Crisis cards. And they had a bunch of like more casual things, like I think they ran every what are those called? Ultimate Encounters. And there was one I caught a few minutes of it on the stream. They had a new Mephisto Ultimate Encounter that was very playtest looking because they did not have nice cards for it or anything. They had little like paper printouts. But it was Dallas Kemp, who is like in charge of the like models and artwork, playing against the studio painters. There were 3 of them. And it was cool. Like, the part I caught was Dallas dealt out these like 4 cards from this deck, and they just picked them based on the name, and they gave each of the players something. So one of them was that they got all the Infinity Gems that they could place on any of their characters.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Another one, oh my gosh, what were the other 2? They were also similarly like really good buffs to
So it's like they were making a deal with the devil.
They were making a deal with the devil because they all had numbers on them, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And Dallas got a bunch of tokens for that. And he kept saying, "Don't worry about him, don't worry about him." And then I couldn't watch anymore, so I don't know what they did, but I'm sure that they were really great for Mephisto. Mephisto also had a couple friends. He had a Ghost Rider Juggernaut on the table that someone had converted up, and a couple other characters that looked cool. But
So was it Ghost Rider or was it Juggernaut? Rules wise.
it was Juggernaut, but he was all flamey and stuff.
I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah. And on Friday night, they did their keynote, and it was streamed by Professional Casual. They did a good job. And they started revealing stuff like the new tournament kit, which has foil cards for everybody. And then it has... Fred, did you have something to say?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, I thought you started to say something. I'm sorry. Foil cards for everybody. There are some of these cards that are stamped top 4, that the top 4 players get in a tournament. And then there is an acrylic character token, so like made of plastic, that the top player gets, the first place gets. And for this first kit, we've seen that it's a Cyclops acrylic character card.
Oh, so you're really into it.
Yeah, I really want that one. And they said they're going to do 3 of these a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
With different people as the...
Yeah, with different characters.
Primary.
Uh-huh. Different people as the primary, different people for the foil cards that everybody gets.
Right.
All right. That is the first thing. Then they were talking about the repacks. So we're getting a bunch of repacks of characters. These packs are going to be cheaper than the individual boxes were. And they started talking about how these packs give them the opportunity to look at some characters and decide if they need a rebalance or not. And so we're going to get in May a print and play document from them with a bunch of character rebalances. And then the boxes will have the new rules in them too.
Okay, I've got a quick question here. So I'm gonna shout out to what we're looking at for those of you who are listening instead of watching on YouTube. The boxes are a Criminal Syndicate box, is that a Warriors of Asgard box?
Yep, Warriors
and
of
a Defenders box.
Uh-huh.
And The Criminal Syndicate has Hood, Bullseye, Kingpin, and is that MODOK 1?
Yes.
Or is that MODOK 2?
Yep.
Okay, that's MODOK 1. Asgard has Heimdall, Scourge, Angela, and Enchantress. And Defenders has Wong. Is that Wong?
Yep.
Yeah, that's Wong, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil, and Doctor Strange. So the Defenders box has 5 characters in it.
Yeah, but Wong barely counts.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe the best model in that box.
He's certainly the character that has seen the most play in that box.
And yeah, that's not a slight on them. There's 5 very good characters in that box.
Yeah,
That's a great
every
box.
character in that is good.
So some of these characters might have updated rules.
I can't think of any of them that are in there that are like really need an update. Maybe MODOK 1.
Just
I don't know.
give us MODOK 1's original card and do something with Hood.
Heimdall.
Yeah, maybe.
Heimdall. Angela.
Yeah, Heimdall. Angela's good.
They did
Angela-
mention. They did mention at the forum that Bullseye was getting a rework.
I don't
No.
know if that was them saying that or if that was someone in the audience yelled Bullseye and he just
No. It was not somebody yelling Bullseye. I listened to that. So
okay. I also listened to it live, but there's a lot of chaos in the middle of that, and there were definitely audience members just yelling people's names. So I don't know that everyone mentioned in that segment is actually getting reworked.
Boy, I'm sure that's really helpful by the audience.
Yeah.
You're really gonna change a lot of minds by just shouting a name at the creators.
there is one confirmation from Ben though that Sinister is getting changed and reworked.
Ugh. So they're gonna make him better.
So Will said that they are currently playtesting a new version of Sinister. So he will not be in the May packet, I don't think, but it does sound like he's got to get a change.
They are currently working on him, so it's not like done yet. Okay.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be in the May one, I would assume. But they are. We will get a change to Sinister likely.
Oh boy.
Some more repacks. This one we have X-Force with X-23, Honey Badger, Cable, and Domino. We have Xavier Students, which is Nightcrawler, Magic, Colossus, and Bishop. Both Magic and Colossus were mentioned in that chaos, but once again, I could not tell for sure if that wasn't just some audience members, and then Will was just repeating every name I heard. So I don't know.
Right. Well, the thing about this pack that you just mentioned is that they realize that they've had troubles with distribution and nobody can find Colossus and Magic boxes. So
yeah,
that's another reason that they're doing some repacks like this is for availability.
Yeah, and then
I would like Magic to get reworked.
Magic could use a buff. Then there's Web Swinging Heroes affiliation pack, and this one has Spider-Woman, Black Cat, Amazing Spider-Man, and Agent Venom.
Where they're gonna touch Agent Venom, they're gonna nerf him.
Now
He's my boy now.
I bet he'll just stay exactly how he is.
Yeah, he's very good, but also not overpowered. He's right where he should be.
Not pictured here is a box with Gambit in it, and we know Gambit got changed. We have seen his new card.
That's the X-Men starter box, right? That has him in it.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have the starter boxes on here.
I do, but I can't share it. So
yeah, the starter boxes. There's an X-Men starter box, and they said this one will be evergreen. They will keep printing it and putting and shipping it out as long as people order it. And then there's a Criminal Syndicate one.
No, incorrect.
No, sorry, it's Spider Foes. Yeah. And that one is going to be more of a limited run. and they're gonna like rotate which affiliations get like a starter, like Spider Foes are. And these are full 10-man rosters. Dice, tokens, measuring sticks, everything you need to play except terrain for $90.
$89.99. Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
That is a hell of a deal, everyone. This is a great way to get into the game.
It's so good. Now, I have problems with the X-Men one that is half Brotherhood. But, whatever.
That one feels
also,
more like a 2-player starter than the actual, like...
Yeah.
I'd also like to mention that Carnage is on the Spider-Foes box, so that's probably a character that might see a change.
That's true. Yeah, he'll probably see a change. Later
He
on,
needs it.
Later on, we have a slide with every character that's going to be repacked and about when they're going to repack. Except for the characters they accidentally left off the list. Like Wong is not on the list. We know he is in one of these packs.
You gotta love it. I mean, this is just.
I do have the starter packs. If you're watching the YouTube, here they are. So the X-Men one it's all the original X-Men boxes. So that's Cyclops, Storm, Sabretooth,
Gambit?
Wolverine, Beast, Mystique, Magneto, and Toad. Those were the original release. Plus, they added Rogue and Gambit. And then the Spider Foes box, it's Mysterio, Carnage, Lizard, Kraven, Green Goblin, Rhino, Vulture, Electro, Shocker, and Sandman.
Wow, this is all of this for $90.
Yeah.
That is seriously the best deal they've ever put forward, maybe.
It might be the best deal in miniatures gamings I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And there's been some pretty good deals before. All right, so that's the starter packs and the repacks. And then they got into upcoming new releases. So the first one is Phoenix and Phoenix Unleashed, which we will talk about more later.
Mm-hmm.
But she looks good.
The model's incredible. The model's, like, amazing. It's fantastic.
And then we got... a pop-up asking me if I meant to close that tab. We got Avalanche, Exodus, and Lady Mastermind, a new Brotherhood box. And we got Exodus's card, which once we have his full card, the front and back, we'll cover him.
Spoiler, he's good.
The Exodus model looks great. Avalanche is weird. I wish they had done something like making him look more like Shocker does, because that's what he always looks like when he uses his powers. But they kind of use that pose on Shocker, so whatever. And then Lady Mastermind, she looks great. I'm not sure about this tiger thing. She makes illusions.
The tiger thing's my favorite part.
She makes illusions, and she's making a tiger illusion, but it just looks kind of weird. I don't know. We'll see.
That is almost certainly a jaguar. That's
whatever.
A jaguar.
I'm not painting all those spots. It's going to be a mountain lion when I paint it.
Right.
Which is the same cat, but no spots.
And very fitting for our area.
Yeah, it is more fitting for our area. I'm excited for some new Brotherhood and maybe a Magneto rework. The next reveal was Prowler, Spider-Man 2099 and Ultimate Spider-Man, which is a new Miles. And we got the front of Spider-Man 2099's card. They did say this Prowler is Aaron. I don't remember. I don't remember his last name.
Oh.
It's Miles' uncle. It's not the original Prowler from the comics, which is Hobie something.
It is the bad guy from the first Into the Spider-Verse movie. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. It's that character, who is a character in the comics now, but it was not the original Prowler in the comics.
Okay.
And Spider-Man 29, interesting thing about them is they said they've had him designed for a really long time, and he was supposed to come out with the original Spider-Man stuff. And they just weren't quite ready, and he just kept getting pushed. But
weird.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yep.
Would you like to? Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like to hear a prediction?
Okay.
Sure.
Prowler is in green and purple, therefore I'm predicting he will be a spider foe.
He will be both a web warrior and a spider foe?
He probably will be a spider foe. He may not be a web warrior.
Oh, wow. You might be right.
Yeah. This isn't called a web warrior box. Also, they are just doing 3 characters in a box now, instead of 2 or 4. Like, all these boxes have 3 characters in them. Except one. The next box is Silk, Spider-Noir, and Spider-Ham. And we got the front of Spider-Ham's card, who is a 2-point character. So all those people who kept saying that they're never going to make a 2-point character again, you were wrong, and I told everyone that they would make another 2-pointer.
Sure, yeah.
It was Brad wasn't the leader of that camp.
Yeah.
The Spider-Ham sculpt is amazing. Like, they absolutely nailed him.
Yeah, he's got a giant hammer, everyone. It's awesome.
Yeah. Silk, I think, looks fine, but she also looks like Spectacular Spider-Man. Like, their poses are very similar.
From the Rivals box.
Oh, I was thinking of the one from the new core box, Spectacular, the 3-point Peter Parker.
No, this looks more like This more looks like the Rivals box.
That might be the model I'm thinking of. I don't know. I don't play Spider-Man very often. And then Spider-Man Noir looks okay, but like it would have been better if he was like standing under a lamppost leaning on it, or like standing there contemplating a Rubik's Cube or something that was like,
I don't know,
more in character.
He's in Miles's pose. And he's on a piece of Art Deco building that's fallen onto the ground. I think it's kind of fun. I do get what, like, if it was just a lamppost that he was leaning against, that would be better. That would be a lot of fun.
He needs to look more like a Noir character and less like a spider in his sculpt. Because that's what he is. He's a Noir character. But whatever. It's fine. Like, they don't look bad.
I think they look great. Even with the criticism we're leveling, they are great models.
Yeah. I'm being nitpicky here. And then that's the end of the card reveals, but not the end of the character reveals. We got tons of those left. We have Echo, Ronin, and Tigra.
Isn't it Tigra?
It is. I was hoping you remembered that, Fred.
You correct me on that every time?
I was hoping you would remember. I think Echo, they said, was like one of their first sculpts, but they never found a good way to release her. And so we're finally getting her.
Does that mean it's a bad sculpt? Like,
It's just a boring sculpt.
It's just
it
it's just an early sculpt from them.
do you remember the early Ultron sculpt? The Ultron 1 was a terrible sculpt.
It's not a bad sculpt. It was a pain in the butt to put together.
You're right. You're right. It looks good. The look of it is good. It's just like you have every arm is 3 pieces.
Go ahead.
Famously, the worst sculpt from the bygone era is probably Winter Soldier. If you're talking for aesthetics.
Yeah, there is something a little weird about that sculpt.
Okay.
I agree. I love the character of Ronan from the comics. I mean, not Ronan, Echo from the comics. I don't care about Ronan. Echo from the comics. So I'm excited that we are getting her. She's cool. And I'm disappointed that I have to buy a box with Ronan and Tigra in it.
Okay.
Tigra should be fine.
Ronan's probably going to be a good character in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like a ninja. Whatever. He'll be fine. Just, Echo's really cool.
Okay.
Echo's really cool. What's next? Oh, a random box of 2 models. Blue Marvel and Spectrum. So I bet nobody knows who Blue Marvel is.
Never heard of him.
Actually,
no idea.
I've heard of him. I know very little about Blue Marvel. I know that he is a scientist, very smart, and that he has powers. And I'm not even sure what those powers are, but sure.
Make blue things come out of his hands.
Yeah, obviously. And then Spectrum has also been known as Photon or Captain Marvel. And I might be missing a name. But this is Monica Rambeau from the MCU.
Yeah, was she in she was in Marvels, right?
She was in Marvels. She was in
Yeah.
what was the Vision Scarlet
Captain
Witch
Marvel?
show? No. The Vision
WandaVision?
She was a little girl on the Captain Marvel movie.
Oh boy, you're right.
She was a little girl. She's a cool character. She's led the Avengers. One thing they mentioned that this pack comes with a new leadership called Mighty Avengers. They said it was a new affiliation, but that might have been a misspeak, and they might have met a new leadership for Avengers. I just don't know for sure. They said affiliation. But they also told us Yondu was going to have a leadership. That's all I'm saying. This is a cool pack. Monica's a cool character in the comics. The models look great. The Blue Marvel, if you're not looking at him, he is floating on some energy, which is cool. Our next pack is Iron Lad, Ironmonger, Kang the Conqueror, and Rescue. Fred, tell me everything you know about Iron Lad.
Okay. I just did. That's
Okay.
it. That's all.
So Iron Lad is young Kang before he goes evil.
Okay.
Tell me what you know about Ironmonger.
Oh boy, this exercise is not going to lead us anywhere.
Oh, okay. So Ironmonger, this is probably Obadiah Stane, who was the bad guy in Iron Man 1, Ironmonger. You've seen Iron Man 1.
I have. It was in 2008.
Sure,
But
but
yes, I have
yeah,
seen it.
you remember he puts on the big suit and he fights Iron Man. This is him.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
This is
So this is Jeff Bridges.
It is. This is either the biggest 50 millimeter model that they've printed, or the biggest model they've printed, depending on what size that base is. It's probably a 50 millimeter, not a 65. But if that's a 65, this model is ginormous.
You're talking about Kang the Conqueror, the next one.
No, I'm talking about Ironmonger.
That's Ironmonger. Okay.
That's
They have the
Ironmonger.
names.
No, they
Okay,
have them
I
in
see,
a completely wrong order. Iron Lad is on the right side of this picture, Fred.
Oh boy. Okay.
They're actually completely backwards. That model, it could be huge, but it's probably just very big. That's probably just a medium-sized base. Kang the Conqueror is a guy from the future who's trying to conquer the past.
Right.
And is in the MCU. Although they've kind of dropped him, but maybe he's going to show up again. I don't know. He's not even that interesting in the comics. Let's move on. Rescue is Pepper Potts, Iron Man's girlfriend and assistant, who puts on an Iron Man suit that has no weapons and saves people.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Is this one box?
This is one box.
Yeah. Okay, it is. I
Yep.
see. It seems like this is two sets of characters that don't go together.
Yeah, it sure does.
Okay.
The next box is Adam Warlock, Moondragon, and Quasar. Fred,
I guess they're in completely the opposite order.
which one of these
as far
is
as the picture?
which one of these is Adam Warlock?
It's the middle, right?
Yes, the middle one is Adam Warlock from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is a very different character than he is in the comics.
Isn't he in 2? He's in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
He's in one of them and like barely shows up, and then he's
Yeah.
big time in
His
3.
reveal and like birth is in 2, and he's actually in 3.
Yeah. He has his own soul gem and he's like a very powerful cosmic guy, and he has an evil version of himself running around called the Magus, not pictured here. And he does Infinity Gem stuff. They did mention that Infinity Gems come back in a big way with this set, so we'll probably have some gem bearers here. Okay, Fred, let's see how you do on this one. Which one's Moondragon?
Guy on the right.
The girl on the right is not Moondragon. The girl on the left is Moondragon.
Oh, okay.
Moondragon is Drax's daughter, human daughter, because Drax used to be human. And she went to maybe Titan and studied with some monks and became like an intergalactic monk. And in her soul is the Moondragon, an ancient evil that she keeps trapped there, and she has like psychic powers. And she is dating Quasar, who is the character on the right, who has, what are they called, quantum bands. And she's the second Quasar, and she uses the bands to make a sword out of light and fights people with it.
I really hope they do the comic version
Of
Adam Warlock, and I hope there's an Infinity Watch leadership that goes along with him.
it's definitely going to be the comic version. They
Which means I want the other comic Drax, you know, the big guy before.
with the cape.
Yep, the big green cape, stronger than the Hulk.
Uh, I don't know if we'll see that version of Drax, but this set's cool. It's gonna add a lot of weird cosmic people to the game. They mentioned Guardians and other affiliations, which, like, Moondragon has been an Avenger, so she'll probably be an Avenger.
I wonder if Gamora's going to get a remake and then they'll make her a gem bearer if they do her again with this affiliation.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The next pack is a 2-pack, but it's got a lot of plastic in it. We have Valkyrie on her Pegasus Elendil. There's no R in that word at all. And they mentioned this is the Valkyrie from the comics that only goes by Valkyrie, which I believe is the one based on the Ella Thompson character from the Thor movies that they added after the Thor movies.
Yeah,
Does that mean that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
This is not Brunhild.
No, this is not Brunhilde. What were you gonna ask?
So
Fred?
this will be a different. We can field both Valkyries.
You can field both Valkyries.
Okay.
This
Just
is
like you can field both Spider-Mans.
yeah.
Yep, you can.
This is such a good sculpt. Her on her Pegasus.
Big Malekith energy, but
not
maybe
not as big.
okay.
This model's not going to be as big as Malekith. There's no way. But it will look good on the table.
Yeah.
And then the other model that comes in this pack is the Warriors 3, all on one base together. And they look like the Warriors 3. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, guy with sword, guy with mace, and dwarf.
Findral, something with Grim in the name.
And Volstagg.
And Volstagg. Grim. God, what is his name? I don't remember. They're cool. I don't really care. I don't care about Asgard stuff very much, but these are cool models. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Oh God.
This pack
yeah.
is a weird pack. Danny Moonstar, Havoc, Jubilee, and my boy, the guy I've wanted the most since the start of this game, Multiple Man.
Yep. And is that a grunt unit that's with him?
Yeah,
Almost certainly.
They took the easy way out, and he's gonna have grunts, and I'm disappointed because they could have done something cool instead.
You don't know what the rules are on those grunts yet.
That's true.
They could be doing something very weird.
Danny Moonstar will be a New Mutant, and she is very likely to have a New Mutant leadership. Jubilee, a lot of people have been asking her basically since the start of the game. We're finally getting her. Jubilee's cool, whatever. Havoc, Cyclops' brother. He should have an X Factor leadership because they said that this pack is going to come with a new affiliation called X Factor, and he'll probably have the leadership. Havoc's cool. Big plus. I think that this sculpt kind of misses. It could have been way more iconic to the comics if he was like blasting circular energy out of his chest, like he does in the comics all the time. But whatever. And then there is Multiple Man. It's worth noting that this is Havoc's costume from the 90s and Multiple Man's comic costume from the 90s. Multiple Man looking kind of sassy, and the grunts looking all sorts of different things. We got one reading a newspaper. We got one kind of looking angry with his arms crossed, and we got one in kind of a more neutral pose. super excited for Multiple Man. I probably will never make a list without him ever again.
I hope he's terrible.
Oh, I'll
That
be
was
so
mean.
sad.
I don't hope he's terrible.
I'll be
I
so
hope
sad.
he's very good.
Um,
Oh, I would have loved it if you could have played multiple mans, and Brad would have had to buy this box like 7 times.
I would. I already buy boxes a couple times if they're mutants and I want different suits. AMG's gotten so much of my money. Okay.
Now we're coming to the real box.
This is a cool box. We've got Bastion, Nimrod, and Omega Sentinel. This is going to come out about the same time as next year's Crisis Pack, which is Tolerance is Extinction. It's going to be an X-Men themed Crisis Pack with new Crisis cards and a new Crisis rotation, like they did with War of Kings this year. And the character that comes in that pack is Omega Prime Sentinel, which is different than Omega Sentinel. Omega Sentinel is a specific character who was an X-Man at one point, but she got infected with Omega Sentinel nanobots that turned her into a Sentinel. The Omega Prime Sentinel, my guess is that it is a generic person who got infested with the same nanotechnology that turned them into a Sentinel.
And then, of course, Nimrod.
Well, yeah, Nimrod. The perfect mutant killing machine from the future. The ultimate Sentinel. Adaptable.
Undefeatable?
Undefeatable. Kind of lovable in Powers of X.
I liked him. He was funny.
He was so good in that comic, and you felt
I
so
really
bad
liked him.
because you know that he's like the ultimate evil that's going to wipe out all mutants, and you can't help but like him in the comic. So Nimrod, that's a big deal for the Sentinels. And Bastion, who they got wrong in the cartoon, and I'm not going to go into that too much, except to tell you that he is Nimrod, and the Master Mold got pushed through a portal that combined them into one person, and that's Bastion. So he's a robot person who is a mixture of the Master Mold and Nimrod. And because of time travel things, the Master Mold and Nimrod are still around anyway. But this will be a big upgrade to the Sentinel faction. Plus, I bet the Sentinels get reworked.
Yeah. If there's a faction that needs reworked, it's them.
Yeah. So, fun times for mutant haters, I guess. They had a painted Nimrod in the case. It looked so good. Okay, so if you're watching the YouTube up on the screen, you'll see it now. You'll see this is the release schedule for when this stuff's coming out. So we saw stuff. It was Q2 of this year, which is soon. That's all stuff coming out very soon. Q3, so that's like the fallish area. It's what? It's like July, August, September.
Yeah.
Yeah, July, August, September. Nothing for Q4, which is a lie, because if you look at the picture of Blue Marvel and Spectrum, they come out in Q4. So they just left them off of here. There's probably other stuff that's going to come out in Q4 that they will announce. Probably at Mini Extravaganza. I don't know if it's going to be a lot, there'll be some stuff. Noticeable, no Fantastic Four again.
Yeah.
I give up. They're never gonna make them. And then some of the stuff we saw is early next year, Q1 and Q2 of next year. So the first 6 months of next year, we also got some stuff on. And then finally, they shared when they plan to repackage various characters and stuff. So we've got the boxes we saw pretty much all come out soon, Q2. A couple of them we saw, like the Asgard box, the Doctor Strange, the Defenders box. No, that's not the Defenders box. The Spiders and the Asgard that we already saw are Q3. And then it looks like they're going to do a third box that's probably going to be Convocation themed in Q3. And then the rest of the stuff, Q4, Q1, Q2, and Q3. We've got some X-Men, some Inhumans, the Sentinels at the beginning of next year, Shield box, looks like an Avengers box with Sam, a Force box with She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, and Gwenpool, except Miss Marvel is not actually in A-Force. So I don't know what's going on there. And then about the same time they're putting out the Sentinels next year, we've got like another X-Men box, another Brotherhood box, maybe 2 Brotherhood boxes. And then finally Q3 we've got Winter Guard, except they left off the Bear Ursa Major. Surely that is just a mistake. Pyro, for some random reason, is in Q3, so that's probably a mistake. He should probably be over with the other Brotherhood. We've got like a Shadowland Daredevil box, and we've got maybe another Defenders box with with Shang-Chi, Silver Sable, the new Black Panther, and Namor. The Winter Soldier that's listed on here is probably in the... Oh no, I guess Hulkbuster, Winter Soldier, Hulk, and Vision are probably a box. Whatever. That's a weird box.
That is a weird box. It's Defend? No, it's not. I don't know.
It's Avengers.
Okay, yeah, it is Avengers.
It's Avengers, because Winter Soldier counts. Sorta. So if you're looking to buy characters, if you want to wait till they're reprinted in these boxes, you can. You know when they're going to come out. And if you can't, you're going to have to try to find the few remaining boxes out there or secondhand or whatever if you really need the characters.
Yeah, we're looking ahead more than a year in this. So if you want a character that's late on this list, you still probably need to track them down.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be more than a year without them.
Yeah. That's it. That's all of the news. I don't think I've missed anything at this point.
Okay. So there was a lot to talk about there, and there's a lot of news. Let us move on to games that we've played recently. Gentlemen, do you have any games that you've played recently?
Well, I do.
Okay. Does anyone else have any, or is it just Brad?
I think it's just
I guess it's just Brad. All right, Brad, tell us about what happened in your most recent game.
So I played a game on Thursday. I played Hellfire Club.
You played Hellfire Club?
I did. I played Hellfire Club against Borka, who was playing Cabal. He was playing Cabal in that game. And I lost this game, but it was fairly close. And it being close against Borka playing Cabal means that I think the Hellfire Club has some legs that they're not bad. I was playing fully affiliated. I had Emma, who he killed very early. He actually usurped the throne on her.
Oh boy.
And I lost by 2 points at the end of the game.
So it was that usurpation that won it for him.
Yep, it sure was. I played Psylocke, Angel, who turned into Archangel.
Oh, nice.
And some other models. I don't know that it matters very much. There was I played Mystique, who was not affiliated, but Mystique is so good with Emma.
You played Mystique and Storm?
And I played Storm. Storm didn't do much during the game, so I kind of forgot about her. He had Killmonger, the new Red Skull, Red Skull 3, Magneto,
Mic on.
and
Baron Zemo.
Baron Zemo. That's right.
Magneto.
Magneto.
I guess Magneto is Cabal.
He is. I activated him with Archangel, and then the next
nice.
then the next round ended up rolling 11 dice without getting a wild. So I did not activate him a second time.
That would have felt really good.
It would have. I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the game, but it would have felt good. So I lost this game by 2 points. And it was mostly him just controlling the side with Killmonger and Red Skull. I barely managed not to kill Killmonger, and then he got to usurp, and it was really bad. And that was the game. Then I played a game last night against Borka again. He played something weird. What was he playing?
Was it Mephistos?
No. It was a list he's not played before.
I'm not going to be able to help you.
Yeah, I played X-Men. My list was Cyclops, Colossus, Psylocke, and Phoenix.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. I cannot picture a single model.
Oh boy.
Which is crazy. He had Miles in his list. Oh, no, it wasn't Miles. It was Spectacular Spider-Man. He was playing S.H.I.E.L.D. So he was playing Iron Man as his leader, Namor, Spectacular Spider-Man, Hawkeye, and War Machine. Because I picked 18 points, and he was not ready for 18 points. So he had to, figure out real quick what he was going to play. He has, a really solid 17 in mind and hasn't really thought much more about the list. But he had Iron Man, Namor, and Spectacular, in a pod together. And that's a lot of rerolls, especially on defense. So that was really hard to deal with. And they were fighting Phoenix and Psylocke on that side. Because it was Mutant Madman. On the other side, I had my other two characters, Cyclops and Colossus, against War Machine and Hawkeye. There's a really funny interaction. Cyclops shoots Hawkeye, who uses his shoot first ability. So I use 2 power to get 5 defense. He manages not to get damage through, so I do 2 damage to him on Cyclops' activation. And then I shoot him, dealing no damage. and then I shoot him again. He shoots at me first, dealing no damage to me, but I didn't get to use the superpower that time, and then I dealt no damage to him. So we rolled a bunch of dice, and I did 2 damage to him.
And it was 2 damage that would have been done with your reactive superpower.
Yes, yeah, with the reactive superpower on Cyclops' turn. Or maybe I did 1 more damage. I think it was 1 more because I ended up with 1 power, and I needed 2 to move Colossus back on the point because of the spider infected. I also got to damage War Machine with that reactive superpower before the end of the game as well. But he dazed Colossus, which put a token on Phoenix. He dazed Psylocke, which put a token on Phoenix. And then he didn't even know anything about how Phoenix worked. He did not look at her. He didn't know anything. But he put 2 tokens on her and then chose to Helios laser her, which dazed her and put 3 more tokens on her. So if the game had not ended right there, because it did, he got 16 points, my Phoenix was going to start with 5 tokens on her already on the next turn.
Oh, boy.
Now, he was accidentally, because he didn't know what she did, setting all 3 of his models up to be beamed by her the next turn. No problem.
Uh-huh.
So she was going to take 3 tokens off of her and be fine. But it was going to be really annoying. But I didn't even get to use Phoenix Unleashed because the game ended. He scored enough points to win.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for those breakdowns, Brad. Hey, Brad, I'm going to ask you another question. Did you watch the final game of the Adepticon tournament?
Yeah, the Worlds. I've been talking with Jared basically all weekend about the Apocalypse players that were doing well. And there was an Apocalypse player in Heat 1 that went 3-0. And then the top 8, he went... Now, in the top 32... he went 3-0, which got him into the 8-man finals, and that guy ended up in the final game. And I just happened to tune into the stream when they were like powering up at the start of the game, so I sat and watched the whole game. He was playing. His name's Ben. He's from New Jersey, and he was playing against Mike DeLuca, who's a great player, who was playing A-Force. So the teams in this final were Apocalypse, Deadpool, Sabretooth, Cable.
Is that Sabretooth 1?
Yes. The one
Okay.
that can be a horseman.
Okay.
And Toad, Cable and Toad. So that was his list. Not really what I expected. And then the A-Force player was playing She-Hulk, of course, Mighty Thor, Black Cat, Beta Ray Bill, Okoye. I think that's the whole list. Mighty Thor did a lot of work this game. There was some good plays. Like there was one attack that was going to daze Apocalypse. He played Immortal Servants to recal it and ended up taking 1 damage, which then he healed. So that was big. I think the recalibration matrix ended up getting played. The actual recalibration matrix gets played by Cable to save him, but then Cable ends up going down anyway. Toad did 5 damage to She-Hulk at one point, and I was like, oh my gosh, Cable's going to finish him off because he's at 11 out of 20 damage. But that ended up not happening. And A-Force ended up winning this. It came down to they each won a side, and they each had 4 points. But DeLuca had got up 2 points at one point. And so Ben the Apocalypse player had to like do some stuff to try to like just keep him from winning to turn the game around, and he'd like moved across the table and flipped some points, but then DeLuca just flipped them back. So it was Ben trying to hope his opponent didn't roll bad on flipping points to keep the game going, and then that didn't work out. It sucks when you have to rely on just your opponent flubbing.
Wow. So A-Force won. She-Hulk A-Force won.
Yep, won the big event, won the finals.
I bet very few people saw that coming.
I didn't. I was rooting for Apocalypse, obviously, but just Apocalypse being there is huge.
Right. I mean, Apocalypse is turning out to be very good.
Yeah. She-Hulk being there is even bigger. That's crazy.
That is true.
Now
that's probably a player skill scenario.
And the affiliation could play A-Force, Avengers, or Asgard. It could play all three. It wasn't just A-Force, but he played A-Force a number of times.
Right. And he played A-Force in the finale.
He sure did. And won.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
It is.
All right. This is going to be Brad's episode. Hey, Brad, do you have any trivia for me?
I sure do, Fred. All right. So for the people who've never tuned in before and are here because we had Adepticon news maybe or whatever, we play a game where I ask Fred, who has read very few comics, some comics trivia, where the answer is a character that is represented in the game of Marvel Crisis Protocol. I give him a clue. If he gets it right, he gets 3 points. Then I give him an extra hint. If he gets it right, then he gets 2 points. And then he can ask, in this case, Brandon for help. And not Steven, because Steven knows the answers this week. And if Brandon gets it right, Fred gets 1 point. Fred needs 6 points to win. He rarely gets that, even though he just has to answer 2 questions correctly. All right, let's get started. This character replaced Sue Storm on the Fantastic Four while Sue was pregnant with her son Franklin. Wait, are we allowed to talk about Fantastic Four and MCP at the same time? I'm not sure we
That's
are.
cease and desist.
This character later joins the Avengers during the Jacket era in the 90s. This character remained an Avenger for quite some time before going back to their original team, which was not the Fantastic Four.
Okay, so she took the Invisible Woman's spot. Is this She-Hulk?
That is one of your better guesses and is incorrect.
Okay.
Your hint. A princess of her people, this character had an arranged political marriage. Given opportunity to stay with her new husband or go back with her people, she chose her husband. She later leaves her husband to rejoin her family on Earth.
So hold on. She can either join her people, but she ends up staying with the husband.
Uh-huh.
And then
for a
while, and then she ends up going back to Earth to go back to her people. So her people are from Earth.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if that helps me any. She's the princess of her people. So what would be a group of people that has a princess? Is it? Could it be Wakanda? Could this be Shuri? I'm honestly not sure. I'm gonna guess Shuri.
I just want to remind you, Fred, that both of these clues are about the same person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she was in a bunch of teams. That doesn't help me any. I don't know who's in any teams. And then a person who, I mean, I've made my guess,
All right.
which is incorrect.
Shuri is incorrect, yeah. Brandon, do you know who this is?
I'm gonna guess a one Kamala Khan.
What? No. Since when is Kamala Khan a princess?
She could be.
Also, when was she in the Fantastic Four when Sue was pregnant in the 60s? That's not even that old of a character.
I don't listen to the first hint. Don't look at me.
Crystal. This is Crystal.
Oh, that makes way
Crystal?
more sense.
Yeah.
Crystal.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
she's the princess of the Inhumans, and she marries Ronan, and she stays with him for a while, but then she abandons him and rejoins.
I
the
really should have
Inhumans.
listened to the. I should have really listened to the first hint.
Yeah,
Crystal.
Crystal.
Okay.
Okay, your second character. This character started out as an electronics engineer, but turned to burglary for more excitement. He was caught and served 4 years in prison. After he was released, he got a job at Stark International, but he stole a high-tech suit, which he started using. He used this suit to break into Cross Technological Enterprises, a competitor of Stark, to steal something in Darren Cross's possession.
Is that it?
That's it. Yep, that's the whole.
Is Stark? So this is a burglar who stole something from a competitor. You put on a suit, which could be an Iron Man suit, but it might not be. I'm gonna guess Vulture. Isn't Vulture?
This is
That's my guy.
not. This is not Vulture. All right.
Okay.
Your hint. This character helped fight the Dire Wraiths. These are shape-changing aliens that are from the Dark Nebula, and they're trying to take over the world. He fights them along with Rick Jones, who had cancer at the time, but he got better. Alpha Flight, which is Canada's superhero team. Rom, a space knight who used to be a human from another planet, but he was made into a cyborg to fight the Dire Wraiths and has been doing so for hundreds of years. And Starshine, who is a teen girl from the fictional town of Clairton, West Virginia, whose body was whose body was put into Rom's dead friend's body, the original Starshine. The Dire Wraiths have destroyed the dam, protecting a small town from flooding, and this character helps save the day by shrinking some of the other heroes.
Is this Ant-Man?
This is Ant-Man.
Okay.
Two
burglar. Yeah.
2 points for Fred. Yep. The thing that he stole from Darren Cross was a doctor who was going to save his daughter's life.
Okay. And that last hint was a bunch of nonsense, and then the very last thing was like, hey, and also this is Ant-Man.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk about Rom and the Dire Wraiths and Rick Jones having cancer but getting better, and
the girl from West Virginia.
And the girl from West Virginia, Rom, who was a toy that Hasbro made, that they asked Marvel to make a comic series on, just because. And so Marvel made up all this stuff, but Rom crash lands in Clairton, West Virginia, where a bunch of dire wraiths are already infiltrated, and he spends like the first like 25 issues of his comic book in Clairton, West Virginia, fighting dire wraiths and befriending this girl.
Are you saying Claritin, like the
No.
allergy medication?
Clairton.
Claritin.
Like the girl's named Claire, and then the
T-O-N.
Yeah, T-O-N, which is like town, but it's been, I don't know. I can't think of the right word.
Corrupted.
Yeah.
Contracted.
Contracted, yeah. A town that doesn't actually exist. Now, the art in the comic, because I've read these comics, the art in the comic looks like West Virginia. Like, they did a good job.
Okay.
They did a good job. All right. The final question. You've got 2 points so far, Fred. The most you can get on a question is 3. So you, once again, cannot win. This character first appears in Daredevil 168 in what is supposed to be a one-off appearance. This character continues appearing in the comic until they are killed in issue 181. This character was brought back shortly after and given their own series, where this character finds out the presidential candidate plans to set off nukes. Trying to stop this character from taking power, the presidential candidate from taking power, this character has to fight S.H.I.E.L.D., cyborgs, and monsters. At the end of the comic series, the presidential candidate manages to take power, but has his mind replaced by another person whose plans are unknown. This was later retconned to be a hallucination.
It was all a dream.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you go back for just a second in what you just said. Did you say that they were one off and that they did die, or did you say they were planned to have died and that didn't happen?
Their first appearance was supposed to be their only appearance.
Yeah.
But they kept using the character because they were popular. And they were killed off in issue 181. They were killed off. But then shortly was brought back.
They got better.
They got better.
All right. All of that was precursor to me having no clue who this is.
I haven't told you what comic they were in.
Yeah. That's really helpful for me. But they fought against S.H.I.E.L.D., monsters, and another thing.
Cyborgs.
And so, cyborgs. I don't know. That could be Vision. I'm gonna guess that this is. Oh, I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm just gonna guess Winter Soldier.
Yes, famous Daredevil character Winter Soldier. That is incorrect.
Okay.
Your hint. This character originally served as an antagonist, but was reformed in the pages of Wolverine into being a morally good but brutal hero. In the Mutant X alternate universe, where Havoc is the leader of the world's foremost superhero team, the Seven, this character serves as nanny to Havoc's son, Scotty. This character is still a trained assassin and ninja, which is good when people are trying to constantly kill Scotty.
Is this Elektra?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, Fred.
Do you know what it was?
What?
It was that this character was the nanny, and that that term is almost exclusively female, and that got me thinking about Daredevil characters that are female.
Yeah. Scotty in the Mutant X universe, named after Havoc's dead brother, Scott Summers, who turns out not to be dead as a space pirate in that universe.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. Your bonus question, which I know comes as a surprise to you, Fred, and to our listeners, that I'm giving you a bonus question worth 1 point. What do these characters have in common?
Man, I don't know. So the characters are Crystal, Electra, and Ant-Man. Ant-Man. Uh, what in the world could these three have in does Crystal place herself? I know that both Electra and Ant-Man have an ability to place themselves, but can Crystal? I don't think she can. I think that she's just got 4 attacks and a superpower that lets her make an extra attack if she hasn't made that attack before. So what do they have in common? Is it that they have is it something like they all have 3 energy defense? Something extremely obscure?
No, I would never do that to you, Fred.
Okay, sure.
Now, if they all had
Um,
like 8 energy defense, like that's on the table, but not.
Yeah, something interesting.
Yeah.
They don't all have flight because neither Ant-Man nor I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Uh, they don't have a thing in common that do they all have the ability to grant stun? Or is it I don't know. I don't know what Ant-Man can do. I'm going to guess they all have the ability to grant stun.
I don't think that's correct. Ant-Man does have flight,
Ant-Man does have flight.
I think.
Wait, is
because
but Electra
he's
does
on
not.
an ant. Um,
Okay.
and man, maybe he doesn't have flight.
No,
He doesn't. He has a place that's the flying ant. I don't think he gives stun.
Yes, he does.
He does. So I guess that's probably technically correct.
She doesn't. Electra
Electra
doesn't.
doesn't.
Okay.
Okay. So the correct answer is they all have range 1 attacks.
Oh, they do all have range 1 attacks. Okay.
Yeah, you can think
Technically, Crystal's is area 1, but yeah.
still.
Still range 1.
You can thank Steven for that one.
Yeah, thank you, Steven.
You're welcome. I am that evil.
Are they the only 3 characters in the game with a range 1 attack?
That's a tag.
They may be. They
I
may
believe
be.
it is. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Fred loses again.
Yeah, shocker. All right. Well, I guess the next thing that we need to do.
Mr. Sinister sometimes has a range 1 attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
But
it's area star, where the star is the number of tokens on him. So if he has 1 token, it's a range 1 attack.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the person that we are here to cover today. That person being Phoenix, otherwise known as Jean Grey. Her defenses are 4 physical, 4 energy, and 5 mystic on her front side. And what's the
We
best?
just have to cover them completely separately, Fred.
Okay, I think you're right. I think you're right. All right. So everybody out there, let me go over this real quick. Phoenix completely changes from her front to backside. She is perhaps the most changed model from front side to backside in the game. So we're just going to do this twice. I think that's the best way to do
I
this.
think Hulkbuster changes as much as her.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Because, yeah. All right. So Phoenix, otherwise known as Jean Grey, her defenses are 4 physical, 4 energy, and 5 mystic. She is she has 7 stamina on her front side. She is a threat value of 6, size 2, and a movement speed of medium. Hey, Brad, why don't you do her attacks?
She has 2 energy attacks. The first one, Bolts of Flame. Range 3, 6 dice, cost 0, gain power equals damage dealt. Wild Incinerate after the attack is resolved. Her second one is Firestorm, area 3, 6 dice, it costs 6 power. Allied characters in range remove 1 damage instead of suffering 1 damage. and it also has a wild incinerate after the attack is resolved.
Okay. Hey, Steven, why don't you read the first two superpowers?
Okay, first two superpowers we have. First is Cosmically Empowered Telekinesis. It will cost you 3 power. Choose an enemy character of size 5 or less, or an interactive terrain feature of size 4 or less within 2, and throw it medium. This superpower can be used only once per turn. Another active superpower, we have Rejuvenating Flames. It will cost 2. Choose an allied character within 3. The chosen character removes up to 2 damage and up to 1 special condition from itself. A character may be targeted by this superpower only once per turn.
Okay. Brandon, why don't you read the next two superpowers?
The only reactive superpower is Burning Resolve for 3 power when another allied character within 3 would be advanced, placed, or pushed by an enemy effect. This character may use the superpower the allied character is not advanced, placed, or pushed. And I Am Fire and Life Incarnate. Whenever an allied non-grunt character is dazed or KO'd, this character gains 1 Phoenix token. When this character would be dazed, it gains 3 Phoenix tokens. If this character has 3 or more Phoenix tokens at the start of your turn, or if this character would flip its stat card to its injured side, place Phoenix Unleashed within 2 of it. Phoenix Unleashed is now part of your squad. Move all power, all activated tokens, and all Phoenix tokens from this character to Phoenix Unleashed, then remove this character from the battlefield.
All right. And she also has the innate superpower Psionic Nexus, which is during the power phase, she gains an additional power. And then she has Flight, and she is immune to Incinerate and Poison. Okay, so that is the front of her card. Now let's look at the back of her card. Phoenix Unleashed. Her defenses are 4 physical, 5 energy, and 3 mystic. She has 10 stamina, threat value 6, size 4, and a movement speed of slow. Brad, why don't you do her attack?
She has 2 energy attacks again. The first one is Phoenix Blast, range 4, 6 dice. It's free. It has Destructive Force. When creating a dice pool for this attack, this character may choose an interactive terrain feature size 2, 3, or 4 within range 4 and destroy it. Add a number of dice to the attack pool equal to the size of the terrain feature destroyed. Then, if there are fewer than 2 of the character's flame pillars in play, place 1 flame pillar within range 4 of this character. It is a size 1 interactive terrain feature. And then after the attack is resolved, this character gains 1 Phoenix token. Her second attack, Molecular Disintegration, is a beam 4, 8 dice. It costs 6 power. After the attack is resolved, if the target character is not dazed or KO'd, this character loses 1 Phoenix token.
All right. Steven, why don't you do the next two superpowers?
All right, we have a reactive superpower called Temporal Domination. It will cost you 0 power. When this character is attacking or defending during the modified dice step, it may use the superpower. This character gains 1 Phoenix token and may re-roll up to 3 dice in its attack or defense roll. Superpower can be used only once per turn. And then innately, we have All Are Beneath Me. When measuring the range and line of sight for this character's attacks, you may choose one of this character's flame pillars and measure range and line of sight from it. If you do, after all attacks are resolved, each target character gains the Incinerate special condition. Then the chosen flame pillar is destroyed.
Okay. And Brandon, I saved the best for last for you, buddy. Why don't you do this? Why don't you finish out the card?
She has the Untamed Cosmic Entity. During the power phase, this character will gain 1 additional power for each Phoenix token it has. When this character dazes or KOs an enemy character, this character loses 1 Phoenix token. When another allied character is dazed or KO'd, this character gains 1 Phoenix token. Additionally, if this character would flip its stat card to the injured side, or if it has 5 or more Phoenix tokens at the end of its activation, roll dice equal to the number of Phoenix tokens this character has. Each character within range 5 of this character suffers 1 damage for each hit, crit, and wild results rolled. Destroy each terrain feature within 5 of this character with a size equal to or less than the number of crit, hit, and wilds results rolled, and then you KO this character. She has flight, and she's immune to incinerate, poison, stagger, and stun.
Okay. All right. So there is a hell of a lot going on here. This is a complicated character, but if I get this correct, I think this is the place where we start with this character. You mentioned, Brad, that you were gonna start her activation with 5 Phoenix tokens.
I sure was.
If does that mean that if you killed all the models that you targeted with your molecular disintegration, then at the end of her activation she would die?
No.
No.
Because
Okay.
when she dazes or KOs a character, she also loses a Phoenix token.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay.
So you are going to lose a Phoenix token per target of your beam, no matter what.
Okay. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Whether they daze or not. What sucks is if you do her free attack,
You gain the
only outcomes are you don't daze the character and you gain a Phoenix token, or you daze a character and stay at the same number of Phoenix tokens.
which is really tricky. So you
Yeah.
have to have 6 power on her to get rid of your Phoenix tokens.
Yes. You have to be
That
to
kinda
get rid
blows.
of them.
That kind of sucks.
And
However,
you have to hope that you can get multiple models if you want her to stick around.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon.
you should almost always have close to 6 power. If you're worried about her dying, you're gonna almost be guaranteed 6 power a turn, because you'll get 1 for the power phase and 5 for the Phoenix tokens if she has 5 tokens on her.
Yeah.
So the
I mean-
problem is, though, if she has 4 Phoenix tokens, she gets 5 power, and that's all she has, because then she can't reliably
She can't
make an
attack.
attack.
Yeah.
No.
Without
she
being
attacks
concerned. Because she
Uh,
doesn't
she
gain
might-
power from her attack from Phoenix Blast.
Mhm.
So she's in a spot where she is forced not to attack or attack and be just destroyed.
Which would be terrible.
You could attack, and as long as you daze the character you're attacked, you stay at 4.
Yeah.
And
That's
I guess
that's the risk you want to play.
here's the thing. That attack could be a free 10 dice attack if you're close to a size 4 terrain feature.
It's more likely to be 8.
But still, an 8 dice attack, that's a pretty good attack.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It is worth noting that she can just daze a grunt to remove a token,
Okay.
which are usually easier to kill. But on the flip side, on her front, if they daze one of your grunts, she doesn't gain a token. But on the back side, if they daze one of your grunts, you do gain a token,
Yeah.
which is probably an oversight, honestly.
Yeah, I think you're probably... Or they needed it to be this way, or else she would self-KO too easily.
No, she
might be
self-KOs.
just-
If you're playing
No,
grunts and they just keep popping your grunts, you're going to keep getting tokens on the
Yeah.
backside.
No. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what you're
your
saying.
grunts are a liability. You cannot play grunts with her. You just
Yeah,
can't.
you're right.
You just can't. I think that she is way too easy to KO. Like, she's probably about right flipping her. Like, if you daze either her or 3 other characters, she flips. I think that's fine. Once she's flipped, though, her 10 health does not matter. You're never going to do 10 damage to her. That number could have a couple extra zeros on it. It would not matter because she is going to die from the tokens. She may get she'll definitely get one activation that's built in. She may not get a second one.
And that's a big problem. Like for a tentpole character like this.
And I really doubt anyone's going to get 3 activations out of her.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way.
There's basically no way that's going to happen. So, like, she is on a timer. I think they could make one very small change on this character that would fix that.
What is the change?
They need to take off the second bullet on her free attack, where that she automatically gains a token from the attack. I don't even add it power on it or anything. Just take that one line off. I think she's fine. That one line on there, it's so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think you can allow her to have a range 4 10 dice attack with no drawback.
I think this is them simulating that she struggles against the Phoenix Force to control it.
That's exactly what it is.
I agree. Like this is super thematic. Like the thematic play here is a 10 out of 10. Like this, they nailed it. I feel like
it's just a little too much, just a little.
What's all mutants to be really, really good.
I want them to not be dog shit. I want them to be playable, and I don't know if she is.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, when she does get to activate, she is going to do incredible work. Like
and
she can draw a line of sight. Yeah. She can draw a line of sight from her flame pillars. Oh, hold on. Do the flame pillars not come out when she does she have to make the attack?
She has to make the attack. Not only that, because of the wording, I'm pretty sure she has to destroy a piece of terrain in order to put one out.
Oh my gosh, you might be right.
Because of the word
okay. I think I do, man, oh man. If they came out, she would be so much better, but they don't. Yeah, I think you're right.
You have to make that attack, and you have to destroy a piece of terrain. It's also worth noting that when she blows up, she hurts your own characters too. In X-Men, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You're really in a spot with her where you may just be all in on trying to do like a range 4, 10 dice attack, reroll 3 of them, and just like accept the fact that you are going to die at the end of your activation and try to just...
Yeah.
Just count on it.
If you already have 5 tokens on you, especially if you have 6 tokens on you, well, you can, if you have a good beam and can save her, sure. But you're probably not going to. Your opponent's going to be better than that. So you just...
Well, you can place the pillar after you make the first attack, and then you can make the beam from the pillar. So you can make it. You can make a line happen.
You also place her within range 2 of where Little Jean was. So there's a lot of room there. But
I will
anyway, if you have 6, you definitely just try to rack up as many as you can there to roll as many dice when she dies as possible, and hope you take out their whole team with you.
What were you trying to say there, Steven?
Oh, I wasn't trying to say anything. But...
Oh, that was Brandon. Sorry.
You're fine. So, like, this is a key model that I think is a big reason why we don't have E's anymore.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, because this beam on an E every turn, and she's busted. The fact that, like, everything's really spread out now, like, kind of what Brad was getting at, that beam's not going to be more than, like, 1, maybe 2 models. And, like, then it's like, do you attack again and just reset yourself to where you were? Like, it's just not a great, but I do think this model has a lot to do with why we don't have E's anymore.
if you start with 4 or 5 and can beam 2 models, like I think that's worth it. You beam them, you make a second attack, you're back at 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah.
And then next time she's going to die.
Yeah, so every time she gets attacked, you do temporal dominion or domination. Can that only be done once per turn? Yeah, it can only be done once per turn, but still. Yeah. You just rack up Phoenix tokens using that. It does cost 0 power, which is nice. All right, we have been focusing heavily on the backside here of Jean Grey. We should talk about the front side, which has some really good stuff on it. Like, I think some outstanding stuff. Rejuvenating Flames absolutely rules. She can heal a character within range 3 and remove a condition token. So that's stagger gone.
Yep.
Like,
and she can do this to herself.
And she can do it to multiple people.
She can, just not to the same person more than once.
And it only costs 2. This is an outstanding superpower.
It is. Her throw is amazing.
Her throw is maybe the best throw in the game?
No, you can't beat
Magneto's
throw.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best character throw in the game because it's up to size 5.
There are very few character throws that are not on an attack that can do a size 5.
Yeah.
Are there any that aren't on an attack?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah, they're all attached.
Incinerate's good. Healing your allies on an area 3 attack is really good. It's just really expensive.
6 power, man. That is impossible.
A lot of power.
You have to be like surrounded by everyone.
Yeah.
For this to even make sense.
I refer back to Brandon's comment about ease.
Yeah.
Yeah, accurate.
I think you can really ignore the front side though. Like, her power generation's not gonna be great. Like, she gets 2 a turn, but like a 6 dice builder's not, especially on a 6 threat's not really where you want to be. Like, she's gonna have a tough time doing multiple things.
Yeah.
She can't do multiple, but the few things that she can do a turn, the 1 extra throw or the 1 extra heal or whatever is really good. This is an okay 5 threat character.
I would say a Professor X, though. I mean, people could get her going with their superpower thing.
Yeah, with Professor X's leadership.
Cyclops is to a degree as well.
Okay. Did you had mentioned that this is an okay 5 threat model? This is on a 6 threat character.
Yeah, who as soon as they flip dies. Yep.
The statement stands.
Didn't the 5 threat Jean Grey also get 2 additional power every power phase instead of just 1?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's the case.
That's with her rework, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 5 threat Jean Grey, who never sees the table, who is considered quite bad still.
Yep.
I think this model, the front of the card is a good model. The back of the card is good, and then dies.
Yep.
I think the front side's an okay model.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct.
I'm really hoping that Phoenix gets rework in May.
Like, it's not like she just has she's gonna be hard to kill, but like, I just don't know why you ever attack her. Like, a range 3 6 dice, like, she's never gonna be using Firestorm. Like, you're not worried about that. Like, you don't give her extra power. Like, her 6 dice builder's not gonna gain her enough power for her to be as worth the 6 threat that she is.
She's never going to do all of these good superpowers that she has. Also, her reactive superpower is awesome. It's maybe incredible.
You can also just mess around and kill her without ever attacking her.
What do you mean when you say that?
Well,
What are you thinking?
You can give her 5 tokens, and once she has 3, she dazes, and she gets 3 more, and she's
So
immediately on her backside with 6 tokens.
here's how it works, Fred.
Okay. This character has 3 more, so she would not gain 3 more.
No, she
if
wouldn't
you
gain
just
3
give it
more.
to her. Yeah, she would just flip with 3.
Every time they daze or KO a character, she gets a token. At the start of your turn, not her activation, any of your turns, even one where you pass, if she has 3 tokens, she will change into Phoenix Unleashed.
Here's a question: does Phoenix Unleashed have the activated token? If she has already activated?
Yes, that's one of the things that gets
Oh,
moved
all
over.
activated tokens.
Yeah.
I see it over there.
But
Down
if she
there.
hasn't
Yep.
activated,
Okay.
you can go ahead and activate her for the turn. If she were dazed instead, like if she had 2 or less tokens and would become dazed, that's when she gains 3 tokens. And then when she flips her card at the end of the turn is when you would transform.
To be fair, if you daze her if you give her, say your first attack gives her the 3rd one and then you daze her, she would go to 6, right?
She doesn't get
because it says when this character would be dazed, it gains 3 tokens. Yeah. So if you give her the 3rd token in your first attack and your second attack dazes her, she would immediately go to 6.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
That you could do that to give her 6.
Yeah, you could, and I bet that will happen. That'll be a way to play against her.
Occasionally, yeah.
I don't think you have to figure out a plan to play against her.
You're probably correct.
Your opponent plays her, you've already got a good game plan in.
Yeah, the Phoenix player is going to lose 6 points very quickly, and may do some damage on the way out, but
maybe a lot. Like even if you flip her when she has 3, like getting her to backside, that means you have an act. Like you can't even go if you don't have 6 power. You cannot like remove one without hoping your free attack dazes somebody.
And even then, you keep the same amount of tokens.
Yeah, and then it's a net even. Like you have to try to do 2 attacks that only gain 1 to get to 4 and hope.
Yeah, she's rough.
Yeah, wow.
She is rough.
I don't think she works. She doesn't work. Oh boy.
I don't know how this character got out of playtesting. Like, I don't think she's good. I don't think she's good at all.
So she has a tactics card that we know about. She might have more. It is called I Am Reborn. It is an unaffiliated reactive tactics card. When an allied Phoenix would be dazed, she may play this card. Push all characters within range 2 of Phoenix away short. Pushed characters gain the Incinerate special condition. All characters, so that would be allies as well. Away short. I mean, that's nice. It's not like...
Hey, Fred.
It's not amazing.
Do you remember like 30 seconds ago when we were talking about how she can flip her card without ever becoming dazed?
Yeah. You just never attack her, and this card can't even be played.
You can't even play the card.
I cannot think of a single reason why you would want to attack this model unless she had like 4 hammers.
This is a card that you might not even get to play if you took it. It's a waste of a spot. Like it doesn't matter what it does.
And your opponent gets to choose if you get to play it or not effectively.
Yep. Man, oh man, what did they do here? I
so
think that they really did not do this correctly. Or maybe she does enough damage that she is worth the trouble, but I don't think she does. I don't think there's any way.
No.
Yeah.
If this card said if Phoenix would flip her or if Phoenix would transform or whatever the wording they need to make that work, instead of when she's dazed, like you could actually play the card, but it doesn't work like that.
There may be another tactics card that we don't know about that says pay 5 power, remove 2 Phoenix tokens from Phoenix, or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what it would need to be, but they would need something like that for it to even be worth bringing this character.
Yeah, let's take a tactics card to make a bad character somewhat more playable.
I think that would make her substantially more playable. If you get it would not guarantee it, but it would make it much more likely that you get 2 activations on her flipped side, and that could be quite a bit of
your best
gameplay.
Case scenario is getting 2 activations.
Yeah, and in 2 activations, I bet she makes herself much more worth it.
Well, on the front side, she's got to watch out for characters who are going to hit her with a stun special condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's not immune.
If she
can
gets stunned,
clear it, but she has to activate.
Yeah. She would just be so boned with the stun special condition.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. You could just clear it. You could just spend 2 power
but you have to activate her.
But then you're wasting 2 power to clear it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Right. And she's not gaining. If you throw extra attacks into her, she's only gaining 1 power from that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She does not live her best life.
Is there anything else that I feel like we have been dominating the conversation? Steven, is there anything that you would like to add about Phoenix here?
She is such a great target for a deal with the devil. Because she's never technically injured.
Okay. Yeah.
Disclaimer:
So
you should never take a 6th threat model to deal with the devil. Just as a disclaimer for those listening.
I don't know.
Okay.
You're eventually gonna have 5 or more tokens on her, and you're gonna be like, might as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but if she's still on the table, you still get to activate her. Like she dies at the end of her activation, so you don't want to use this because you're shorting yourself an activation of Phoenix Unleashed, which would be amazing.
It may
I'm
be.
just saying.
Maybe amazing.
That's why I run Hulkbuster with Mr. Ghost Rider.
So you can blow up baby Tony and have Ghost Rider come out of him.
Yep. Get 30 health instead of 22 out of that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Well, that is our take on Phoenix. We need to give her a letter grade. All right, so we've discussed this. I think she doesn't work. I think she's non-functional. Does that mean an F? Hold on. There's stuff on here that's good, but she's non-functional.
She is not. I'm gonna give her a. She's
okay.
not an F.
All right. I'm gonna give her a D. I'm giving her a D. That is where I'm at. Brandon, what is she?
I'm at a C minus. Like, if you actively want to make her work, you can do your best, but it's not great.
Okay. All right. Brad, what do you think here?
I hope I'm wrong. I hope we are all wrong. I hope in a couple months she's the star of a recalibration matrix segment and we're singing her praises. But I think a D+.
Okay. And Steven, what do you think here?
I'm actually the opposite. I think she has potential. Especially if you want. I mean, I would use her as a missile into Web Warriors, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. She would annihilate Web Warriors. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you could like kill everything on the board, right? So, because when she blows up, I mean, the hit crits and wilds don't care about stealth, right? So,
Here is also the thing, though. If she's going into Web Warriors, I don't kill anybody. She will never get flipped.
Nope.
That's the thing.
So I think
She'll just be on her front.
I think she's a 6 threat that, unlike some other 6 threats that you take all the time because they do work, I think she's a scalpel instead of a sledgehammer. I'm going to give her a C plus, because there are situations where she will shine, but she's not an every game piece.
Okay. All right. That is our take on Phoenix. Brad, do you have any comic book recommendations that feature Phoenix?
I do. I held back and only listed 3. So the first one is the Phoenix Saga. This is Uncanny X-Men 101 through 108 by Chris Claremont and John Byrne. Jean Grey dies and is resurrected as the Phoenix. So 101 is the first appearance of the Phoenix. After a couple of adventures where Jean learns about her new powers, the X-Men are off to space to stop the Mad Emperor Dakin from ending the universe. And Phoenix is a big part of stopping that plan. And then...
Okay.
Yeah.
The Mad Emperor Dakin. Boy, there's been a lot of threats to the universe in these in the comic books you've been recommending recently.
It happens all the time in the comics.
It seems to.
Then there's like about 20 issues of her just being the Phoenix and doing stuff with the X-Men. And then comes the Dark Phoenix Saga, which is Uncanny X-Men 129 through 138. Once again, Chris Claremont and John Byrne. And something weird is going on with Jean. She's having flashes of a previous life that's somehow connected to the Hellfire Club. And if that's not bad enough, the Shi'ar Empire comes to try Jean for crimes against the universe.
Even though she saved it?
She did.
From
Yeah, she did, and then she went and ate the star with an inhabited planet that destroyed the planet.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. She killed billions of people. Also, the Phoenix in the Shi'ar mythology is a universal entity that destroys and creates. And they're really worried about that destroy part.
Okay.
So these are comics from late 70s and early 80s. These are some of the best X-Men comics out there. Most people who've read the Dark Phoenix Saga will recommend it. There's really good stuff. And then a lot more recent, X-Men Forever from 2024, just last year.
Ooh.
This is by Kieran Gillen and Luca Maresca. And after years of questions about the connection between Jean and the Phoenix, including a lot of really bad stories, we finally have answers in this race against time to save all of mutant kind. So Jean explores her connection with the Phoenix and what all that means, and we finally get some questions answered, like how they're connected. So it was retconned after the fact, and this was actually kind of dumb, that the Phoenix in the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga was the Phoenix entity that just took Jean's shape and lived, and her memories and stuff, and lived her life, and it wasn't the real Jean. But then Jean remembers all that stuff. So why?
Okay. Uh, good question. It seems like a bad retcon.
Yeah, they wanted to bring Jean back, and they had to figure out a way. So when they crash into Jamaica Bay, which is outside New York City, um, she gets put in a pod at the bottom of the bay and is asleep for years while Phoenix goes and lives her life. And then the Fantastic Four find her down there.
Okay, and she remembers everything that Phoenix did
Well,
anyway.
yeah, the Phoenix like puts a shard of itself in her and gives her all those memories at some point. I don't know. There's a
And
lot going on. This fixes everything. What this story says, I'm just gonna spoil this, is that Jean Grey becomes the Phoenix, and it retroactively has been Phoenix since the beginning of time. So she is the Phoenix. The Phoenix is her. It's always been her. Always will be her.
Jeez.
That
Okay,
fixes
all right.
everything, though.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And
Certainly makes a lot of sense.
now she's off being Phoenix in space, doing space stuff like fighting Thanos.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Brad, for the comic book recommendations. I think we lost Brandon.
We did.
Partway through there.
We also
The only
we also just have quietly scrapped his whole segment. So
well, yeah, that's true. The only thing that's left is
the answer is Red Skull One Cabal. Go ahead.
Oh, Nikes, you might be correct, actually. All right. The only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation. So, when I think of Phoenix in the movies, I think of Famke Janssen. I know that there was a more recent movie adaptation of Phoenix, but
that was only slightly better.
Well, I don't even think about the third X-Men movie where it's Famke Janssen. I'm thinking about X-Men 2.
Sure.
The best one. Almost certainly without question.
It's definitely top 2.
It's the best one. And it's the best X-Men movie that has been made. And she becomes Phoenix and like the dam breaks and she's holding back all the water from the dam. It's a very good scene. But the movie that I'm going to recommend is a movie that also has Famke Janssen in it. She's not exactly the star; she's more of a side character. But it is the movie Taken. I've been doing a lot of
Taken's
action
a great movie.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of action movies lately. Taken rules. Oh yeah.
Have you watched all 3 Taken movies?
No, I have not watched all 3 Taken movies.
You should watch all 3. The third one's actually my favorite.
I have not seen the third one. That is the one that I have not seen.
I like it the best. 2 was okay. The first one's pretty solid.
No, the first one I really liked. 2, I was just like, all right, I think I'm done.
But watch the third one. It's worth it.
Okay, all right. So it's a series of movies that star Liam Neeson as an action hero. And his daughter is kidnapped by human traffickers, and he decides that he's going to murder all of them. And he proceeds to do that, and it rules. It's awesome. It's a simple.
He decides to get his daughter back, and if he has to murder a bunch of them, then so be it.
In the process, yes, I made it a little bit too simple, but it is a great movie, and I really recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and that is it for our show today. Thank you, Stephen and Brad, for sticking with us through the entire episode, and thank you, Brandon, later on, if he even listens to this part. He probably won't. And thank you out there for listening, everyone who is listening in podcast land. This was a long one. We had a lot to cover. And I hope that all of you have a wonderful rest of the week. Goodbye.